Hi, Charlotte here, and today I'm going to teach you guys how to code your bass line in. So as you can see, I still have my beat from the last beat challenge we had, and I have it coded into Steamville on the left side. And then today I did my bass line, and that is what we're going to code into TunePad today. As you can see, my bass line is pretty simple. It repeats twice within one playthrough. So to get started, I'm just gonna add a bass cell and name it bass to tell from my beat and from my bass. Now, if you look on the left side of TunePad Beat Composer, it already gives us the numbers that we would use for the corresponding note that we want to play. So on the left, there's a list of notes, E, D, C, B, all of those, and then they have a corresponding number. And that number is what we'll put in the parentheses of our play note function. So I'm just going to start off by writing play note and 28 on the inside of the parentheses. But then we have to figure out how long we want the 28 or the E note to play for. And so if we look at the top, we see a series of numbers, 1, ... 2, ... So the way this works is since the distance between 1 and 2 is 4 rows or 4 cells, whatever you want to call it, each cell is worth 0.25 beats. And that's going to be the main thing we have to remember. So if we have 3 cells being played on the E note, 3 times 0.25 is 0.75, or 3 out of 4 cells are being played. This is also probably a great time to mention that it also gives you the code at the bottom of TunePad Beat Composer. So if you want to just copy and paste that, that's cool too. It gives it for you for each section. Now let's take a minute and talk about variables. We see that for the first example, we put 28 inside play note to play the note E. So if we wanted to, we could also just write E equals 28, and that is a variable. Think of E as a bucket, and the bucket E is holding the value 28. So every time we write 28, we could also just write E. But this only works if we define before it that E equals 28. If we wanted to, we could also do this for all the other notes that we'll be using. So the next note that we're going to do is F sharp. And if you look at the right side, it says that F sharp is 30. And then G is 31 and B is 35. And so we can use variables to make this a little easier when we actually type all of this out. Instead of writing 28 or 30, we can just write E or F sharp or G. That way we also know what letters we're actually using. Now let's work with our next letter. We have F sharp. And we see that we're only using one column, one box. And we know that each box is 0.25. And so that's how we figure out how many beats to use, how many beats we want it to play out for. Now let's move on to G. We see that it's playing for 4 different cells. So if we know that one cell is 0.25 and 4 is 1 whole beat, kind of like 4 quarters is $1, like that. And then we have our last one, which is B, and that's only playing for 2 columns. And so what do you think that one will be? Now I see that I have something called a name error. It says name F is not defined on line 10. So let's take a look at line 10 and see what's going on with F. Can you help me out with that? So instead of writing F sharp, we accidentally just wrote F. And so without that sharp, it does not work at all. Since the second half of my bass line just repeats, I'm just gonna go ahead and copy and paste instead of typing it all out.